Keith Whitley, a celebrated country music legend, captivated audiences with his soulful voice and heartfelt storytelling. Born in 1954, he rose from humble beginnings to stardom. Behind the fame lay a battle with addiction that ultimately claimed his life in 1998. This tragic yet inspiring tale highlights his profound musical legacy, enduring impact, and the struggles that shaped his life and career. Let's talk about his early life and musical beginnings. Keith Whitley was born in Sandy Hook, Kentucky, a town rich in Appalachian musical traditions. Raised in a family that deeply appreciated music, Whitley's talent emerged at an astonishingly young age. At just 4 years old, he began performing publicly, enchanting audiences with his natural charisma and melodic voice. His father, Elmer, an electrician by trade, recognized Keith's potential early, gifting him his first guitar after Keith won a talent contest at 6 years old. Keith's mother, Faye, played a pivotal role in nurturing his musical journey. A multi-instrumentalist, she taught Keith the basics of guitar and instilled in him a love for traditional music. These early lessons, combined with the vibrant musical culture of Eastern Kentucky, provided a strong foundation for his future career. He was particularly drawn to the soulful sounds of bluegrass and hard country legends. Keith idolized artists like Hank Williams, George Jones, and Lefty Frizzell, whose emotionally rich music would later influence his style. By the time Keith was in high school, his passion for music had solidified into a clear ambition to become a professional musician. During his teenage years, Whitley and his brother Dwight performed in local bands, captivating audiences with their harmonies. They began making a name for themselves in the bluegrass scene, showcasing the rich musical heritage of their upbringing. Keith's ability to blend technical skill with heartfelt delivery set him apart, even as a young performer. Though his early years were marked by success, they also hinted at challenges to come. Keith's talent was undeniable, but so were the temptations and struggles that would later complicate his journey. These formative years laid the groundwork for both his artistic brilliance and the personal battles he would face. The bluegrass roots and transition to country. Keith Whitley's musical journey began in the bluegrass genre, where he quickly established himself as a prodigious talent. As a teenager, he joined forces with his brother Dwight, forming local bands that reflected the deep musical traditions of Appalachia. Their performances showcased tight harmonies and technical mastery, earning them recognition in their community and beyond. In the early 1970s, Whitley's path took a significant turn when he joined Ralph Stanley's bluegrass band, the Clinch Mountain Boys. This experience exposed him to larger audiences and provided a platform to refine his craft. With his soulful voice and natural stage presence, Whitley became a standout performer in the group, capturing the attention of bluegrass enthusiasts nationwide. Despite his success in bluegrass, Whitley's heart was set on country music. He admired the emotional depth and storytelling found in the works of country legends like Lefty Frizzell and Hank Williams. This admiration fueled his desire to transition to the honky-tonk style, where he could explore themes of love, loss, and heartache. By the late 1970s, Whitley made the pivotal decision to shift his focus entirely to country music. His distinctive vocal style, characterized by emotive phrasing and note-bending, set him apart from his contemporaries. As he transitioned, Keith began writing his own songs and collaborating with Nashville songwriters, further honing his craft. His journey from bluegrass to country was not without challenges, as it required adapting to a new genre while retaining the authenticity that had defined his earlier work. This transition marked a turning point in Whitley's career, positioning him for the mainstream success that would follow. It also signaled the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with both extraordinary accomplishments and unforeseen struggles. Keith Whitley's career truly began to ascend when he transitioned from bluegrass to country music in the late 1970s. His move to Nashville marked the start of a new chapter, one that would showcase his unparalleled ability to connect with audiences through heartfelt storytelling. After years of performing with bluegrass icons like Ralph Stanley, Whitley brought the same emotional intensity to his country performances, setting him apart as an artist with both technical skill and raw authenticity. In 1984, Whitley signed with RCA Records, a turning point that allowed him to reach a national audience. His debut country album, A Hard Act to Follow, displayed his unique blend of traditional honky-tonk sounds with a modern sensibility. Though the album received moderate success, it was clear that Whitley's voice had the potential to redefine country music for a new generation. The real breakthrough came with his second album, LA to Miami, 1985, which featured several chart-topping hits including Miami, My Amy, and 10 Feet Away. These songs not only showcased his vocal range, but also solidified his reputation as a masterful interpreter of love and heartache. Audiences were captivated by the depth of emotion in his performances, and critics began to take notice of his rising star. Whitley's ability to evoke vulnerability and strength in his music resonated deeply with listeners, helping him build a loyal fan base. His growing popularity led to high-profile tours and collaborations with some of the biggest names in country music. However, with fame came new pressures, and Whitley found himself navigating an increasingly demanding and competitive industry. While his career flourished, the personal struggles that had followed him for years began to intensify, foreshadowing the challenges that lay ahead. Keith Whitley's personal life took a dramatic turn when he met fellow country music artist Lorrie Morgan. Their paths crossed during a promotional tour for Whitley's LA to Miami album in 1985, and their connection was immediate. Whitley, known for his soulful performances, and Morgan, a rising star in her own right, quickly fell in love. Their shared passion for music and mutual admiration laid the foundation for what seemed to be a storybook romance. The couple married in November 1986, and soon after they welcomed their son, Jesse Keith Whitley. Their relationship was filled with moments of profound love and joy, with Lorrie often describing Keith as a deeply caring and attentive partner. "He treated me like a queen," she would later reflect, highlighting the affection that defined their early years together. However, their marriage was not without its struggles. Whitley's battle with alcoholism became a central challenge, casting a shadow over their happiness. Lorrie, determined to help him, took extraordinary measures to support her husband. She tied their legs together at night to prevent him from sneaking out to drink, a desperate act that symbolized both her love and the immense difficulty of living with addiction. Despite these challenges, their bond remained strong. They shared countless intimate moments, from late-night conversations to collaborations on music. Lorrie believed that her love could help Keith overcome his demons, but the reality of addiction proved far more complex. While their relationship was deeply fulfilling in many ways, it was also marked by tension and heartbreak. Their love story, though short-lived, left an indelible mark on both of their lives. It exemplified the power of love, even amidst the profound challenges posed by addiction and the pressures of fame. His struggles with alcoholism. Keith Whitley's battle with alcoholism was a struggle that permeated every stage of his life and career. His addiction began in his teenage years, growing up in eastern Kentucky, where drinking culture was deeply embedded in the social fabric. He and his friends often indulged in bootleg bourbon, leading to reckless escapades on the winding mountain roads. These early encounters with alcohol hinted at the challenges he would face later in life. As Whitley's fame grew, so did the pressures of the music industry, exacerbating his reliance on alcohol as a coping mechanism. By the time he transitioned to country music and signed with RCA Records in 1984, his drinking habits had become more than a casual indulgence. They were a destructive force. Lorrie Morgan, his wife, often bore the brunt of this battle, witnessing firsthand how addiction consumed Keith. Despite his immense talent and success, his inner demons were relentless. Keith attempted sobriety multiple times, particularly after his father's death in 1987, which profoundly impacted him. However, the cycle of addiction proved difficult to break. Lorrie took extraordinary steps to help him, from monitoring his behavior to physically restraining him at night to prevent drinking. She often described the anxiety of living with him, saying every time the phone rang, she feared it would bring devastating news. The toll of addiction extended beyond Keith's personal life, affecting his professional relationships and performances. Although his music was celebrated for its emotional depth, many were unaware of the personal turmoil behind the scenes. Friends and colleagues often saw two sides of Keith, the magnetic performer on stage and the troubled man off it. Despite his efforts and Lorrie's unwavering support, Keith's addiction continued to escalate, casting a shadow over his otherwise extraordinary life. It was a battle he could not ultimately win. The dark side of fame. Fame brought Keith Whitley immense success, but it also exposed him to relentless pressures that amplified his struggles with addiction. The country music scene in the 1980s was both competitive and unforgiving, with artists constantly under scrutiny from fans, industry executives, and the media. For Whitley, who was naturally introverted, these demands often felt overwhelming. As his star rose, Keith found himself grappling with the expectations of maintaining a public image while dealing with private pain. His ability to convey deep emotion in his music became a double-edged sword, as it drew fans closer but also left him vulnerable to the weight of their expectations. Songs like Don't Close Your Eyes and When You Say Nothing at All resonated deeply with audiences, cementing his reputation as an artist who could tap into universal feelings of love and loss. Behind the scenes, however, Whitley's life was far from ideal. The constant touring, long hours in the studio, and pressure to produce hits took a significant toll on his mental and physical health. Alcohol became a coping mechanism, a way to escape the unrelenting demands of his career. Friends and colleagues often witnessed Keith's transformation from a charismatic performer on stage to a withdrawn, troubled individual in private. Despite these challenges, Whitley's music continued to thrive, earning critical acclaim and commercial success. However, the darker aspects of his life began to overshadow his achievements. Rumors about his drinking habits and erratic behavior spread within the industry, creating a complicated narrative that juxtaposed his immense talent with his personal struggles. The dark side of fame for Keith Whitley was not just about addiction. It was about the immense pressure to succeed in a world that offered little room for vulnerability. This struggle would eventually culminate in his untimely death, leaving fans and loved ones to grapple with the cost of his success. His tragic death. On May 9, 1989, Keith Whitley's life came to a tragic and untimely end. At just 34 years old, the rising country music star was found unresponsive in his Goodlettsville, Tennessee home. The cause of death was acute alcohol poisoning, with reports revealing a blood alcohol content, BAC, of 0.5 times the legal limit. The shocking number left fans and colleagues reeling, raising questions about how such a level was reached and why his addiction had spiraled so far out of control. That day, Whitley had been left alone at home while Lorrie Morgan was away preparing for a tour. Despite her constant efforts to help him manage his addiction, Keith's struggles persisted. Lorrie later revealed her unease about leaving him, saying she feared the worst every time the phone rang. Her intuition was tragically accurate, as Keith succumbed to the very demons he had been battling for years. Reports about the events leading to his death added layers of complexity to the tragedy. Some speculated that Keith, in his desperation, had resorted to unconventional methods of drinking, such as consuming household products like Listerine or Windex. These rumors painted a picture of a man deeply consumed by his addiction, willing to take extreme risks to satisfy his dependency. Whitley's death sent shockwaves through the country music community, leaving a void that could never be filled. Artists and fans alike mourned the loss of a talent whose music had resonated so deeply with them. Yet, beyond the headlines and speculation, Keith's passing underscored the devastating toll of addiction, reminding the world of the fragility of life and the importance of compassion for those struggling with similar battles. For Lorrie Morgan, the death of her husband was not just a personal tragedy, but a defining moment that shaped the rest of her life. As the widow of one of country music's most promising stars, she faced an onslaught of public scrutiny, media speculation, and private grief. Lorrie's perspective on Keith's life and struggles provides a poignant insight into their complex relationship and the challenges they faced together. Lorrie has often described Keith as the love of her life. Despite the strain his alcoholism placed on their marriage, she cherished their time together and the deep connection they shared. "He treated me like a queen," she recalled, emphasizing the affection and care he showed even amid his darkest moments. Their marriage, while brief, was filled with laughter, love, and shared dreams, making his loss all the more devastating. After Keith's passing, Lorrie became the target of criticism from those who believed she could have done more to save him. She rejected this narrative, explaining that addiction is a powerful adversary that love alone cannot conquer. "It wasn't as if I could have stopped him," she said, reflecting on the helplessness she often felt. Her efforts to support Keith, including desperate measures like tying their legs together to prevent him from drinking, revealed the lengths she went to in order to help him. In the years since Keith's death, Lorrie has dedicated herself to preserving his legacy and advocating for greater awareness of addiction's complexities. Her candid reflections on their life together highlight the enduring impact of Keith's music, the pain of his struggles, and the love they shared. For Lorrie, Keith's memory is not defined by his addiction, but by the man he was and the profound mark he left on her life. Keith Whitley's untimely death in May 1989 sent shockwaves through the country music community. His immense talent and heartfelt performances had endeared him to fans and fellow artists alike, making his loss deeply felt across the industry. In the days and weeks following his passing, tributes poured in from country music legends, including George Jones and Alan Jackson, who spoke of the void left by Keith's absence. Whitley's music had a unique ability to touch hearts, resonating with listeners through themes of love, heartbreak, and redemption. Songs like "Don't Close Your Eyes" and "When You Say Nothing at All" became anthems for a generation, and his influence extended beyond his own career. Artists who followed in his footsteps often cited Whitley as a source of inspiration, praising his ability to convey deep emotion with every note. The tragedy of Keith's death also sparked conversations about addiction within the music industry. It highlighted the pressures faced by artists in the spotlight and the lack of adequate support systems for those struggling with personal demons. Keith's story became a cautionary tale, prompting greater awareness of the challenges that come with fame. Despite his passing, Keith's presence in country music remained strong. Posthumous releases and tribute performances kept his legacy alive, ensuring that new generations of fans discovered his music. His influence can be heard in the work of contemporary artists who strive to emulate his emotional depth and authenticity. Keith Whitley's impact on country music goes far beyond his chart-topping hits. He remains a symbol of the genre's ability to tell stories that resonate deeply with the human experience, and his legacy continues to inspire and shape the industry today. In the aftermath of Keith Whitley's death, his widow, Lorrie Morgan, emerged as a powerful voice for addiction awareness and mental health advocacy. Having witnessed the devastating effects of addiction firsthand, Lorrie used her platform to shed light on the struggles faced by individuals and families grappling with substance abuse. Lorrie has often emphasized the importance of compassion and understanding when addressing addiction. She shared her experiences with Keith's alcoholism, detailing the ways it affected their marriage and her own emotional well-being. "Addiction is not something love can fix," she has said, underscoring the complexity of the disease. By speaking openly about her struggles, Lorrie sought to destigmatize addiction and encourage others to seek help. In interviews and public appearances, Lorrie highlighted the need for greater support systems for those battling addiction. She advocated for more resources, better treatment options, and a shift in societal attitudes toward addiction as a medical condition rather than a moral failing. Her candid discussions resonated with many, inspiring others to share their own stories and seek the help they needed. Beyond her advocacy, Lorrie worked to preserve Keith's legacy, ensuring that his life and music were remembered for more than his struggles. She organized tribute concerts, collaborated on posthumous releases, and shared personal anecdotes that celebrated Keith's talent and character. Through her efforts, Lorrie not only honored her late husband but also contributed to a broader understanding of addiction's impact. Her journey from grief to advocacy serves as a testament to resilience and the power of using personal pain to create positive change. Lorrie's mission continues to inspire others, keeping Keith Whitley's story alive while offering hope to those facing similar battles. Keith Whitley's legacy transcends his untimely death, cementing his status as one of country music's most iconic and influential figures. His ability to convey raw emotion and tell deeply personal stories through his music left an indelible mark on the genre, earning him a place among the greats. Even decades after his passing, Keith's music continues to resonate with fans. Posthumous releases and compilations introduced his work to new audiences, ensuring that songs like "I'm No Stranger to the Rain" and "Don't Close Your Eyes" remain timeless classics. These tracks, filled with themes of love, heartbreak, and redemption, have become a soundtrack for those navigating life's complexities. Keith's influence extends far beyond his own recordings. Contemporary country artists frequently cite him as a source of inspiration, praising his authenticity and emotional depth. His work helped shape the direction of modern country music, blending traditional honky-tonk sounds with a soulful, introspective approach. Beyond his musical contributions, Keith's story serves as a powerful reminder of the struggles many artists face. His battle with addiction and the circumstances of his death sparked important conversations about mental health, the pressures of fame, and the need for compassion in the face of personal struggles. For Lorrie Morgan and others who knew him best, Keith's memory is one of love, resilience, and immense talent. His life, though tragically short, continues to inspire and teach valuable lessons about the fragility of human existence and the enduring power of art. Keith Whitley's legacy is one of both brilliance and tragedy, a reminder of the beauty that can emerge from struggle and the lasting impact of a life lived with passion and purpose.